Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Sorry I couldn't post last night. There was a fall festival thing and I got home very late and was tired, so I'm sorry about that. Also, I would have posted this earlier, but my device died due to my lack of charging it. Sorry. Anyway, that was a quick introduction, get out of the way, and let's get started. So we're going to be focusing on the Arctic blast again today. So basically, we see the current Arctic blast going through. It's progressed over the past day or two, and also 3 days is when it really started to form. But we, again, didn't start getting affected until 2 days ago. By we, I mean the United States, because that's my region. Again, I do not track Canada. But anyway, as we continue through days, this is right now, we see that the Arctic blast will quickly progress south and east and then fizzle off. And then the ECMWF shows another Arctic blast, cold front, starting to form and goes through much of the Midwest and plains and into the southeast and northeast. And then, after that, around 180 hours, we do see another huge Arctic blast go into the north and central plains and the Midwest and the east, as we see huge. GFS has also shown this Arctic blast, of course, progress over the past couple hours, and this is right now. What we will be seeing is over the next couple hours and day or two, we see that this Arctic blast gradually weakens and moves south and east. We still see its effects in around 2 days, but then it really starts to fizzle out like the CMWF shows. And then as we keep going, we do see that another Arctic blast, cold front, drops temperatures a lot across the Midwest, a lot of the central United States and eastern United States. But mainly central and eastern time zones. Because even though a lot of the central United States is being affected with the GFS showing this Arctic blast in around 7 days, a lot of the central United States is also not being affected, but a lot it also is. So like it's half-half situation. And pretty much all of the east, like I said, is being affected. And then we see another huge Arctic blast coming in around 8 to 9 days. Very strong. Much of the eastern and a lot of the central United States. And that stays for a while, dropping temperatures drastically. You see very long as 258, we're still seeing it. And then 306, still seeing it. And then it moves out. So that's basically the one the ECMWF is showing, just much stronger and longer lasting. Then the GFS shows this other coming through, but we do not know if this is going to happen. Also, ECMWF, again, does not go far enough for that. So, yeah. Before we look at the minimal temperatures, I'm going to show the Climate Prediction Center. So for temperature hazards, we see that a huge slight risk for the 15th to the 21st is in effect for slightly below average temperatures. Also, sorry if my voice is a little shaky today, and I might have a little cold, but anyway, and moderate below temperatures for around Ohio, West Virginia, part of Kentucky, most of Virginia, a little bit of Tennessee and North Carolina, up to most of Pennsylvania, a smidge of New Jersey, and a lot of not a lot, but a little bit of New York. And that slight goes from Wisconsin, Illinois, through Missouri, Tennessee, down through Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, all the way up to Maine and around. So, yep, we do see the Sudbury here. So, yeah, both the GEFS and ECMWF reforecast tools indicated elevated chances of over 40% of minimum temperatures falling below the 15% town and below freezing over the Ohio Valley. I'm not going to read the rest of the description for time purposes, but I'll keep it here for a couple seconds so you guys can see. And of course, it mentions that this is minimal temperatures, of course, in the last Arctic blast video the other day, and of course in this video, and also pretty much all these weather YouTubers, what we do is we show the minimal temperatures. We don't look at the high temperatures, because the high temperatures will also be lower because of the Arctic blast, because when the lower temperatures are lower, the high temperatures will be lower. So like a day with say a 20 low and a 30 high, that's unrealistic, would drop to a 0 low and like a 40 high. Basically, all these temperatures, highs and lows, drop. But we're going to look at the minimum temperatures to show you the absolute lowest the temperature could get. That's what we all do. So if you guys were wondering why I do that, that's why. Anyway, yeah, I'm trying not to discuss too much and just show you guys the models, but we see the 24-hour minimum 2M temperature. As we move, we do see that the, of course, this starts at 24 hours because it's 24-hour minimum. Of course, we see a much of 40s and 30s left over from the Arctic blast, but as we progress, we do see that a lot of it, it gets much warmer, as we see here. And then we see another Arctic blast coming through. Starts off weak, and then another wave comes in, very strong. 30s for much of this area, as well as potential 20s. The 30s are pretty much a guarantee, but the 20s are not, because we have been seeing a lot of fluctuation on that. But what we're looking at here is the 30s, which are indicated by some of this green here, because a lot of this green is also in the 40s, but a lot of it is also in the 30s. The darker the green, the closer to the 30s or 30s is in. And then 20s indicate when it's starting to get into 20s. It can, so like this purple, not this purple, this blue goes from about 15 to 35 degrees. So you understand the parameters easier. So we do see widespread 30 degrees, high 30s, low 30s, mid 30s, a lot. And then 40s and 30s scattered around here. This whole area is being affected by that Arctic blast, as we see 20s, 26, 29, 30, 31, 35, 33, 33, again, 30, 33, yeah, 34, 36, 37, a lot. And even like 52 in Florida. So yeah, it drops a lot. So we do see that the overall temperature definitely does go down for minimum. So yeah, this is why we look at the minimum temperatures to show you guys how low the overall temperature could get. Okay. And I'm also going to look at the 850 MB temperature anomaly for you guys. I want to show you how the temperature gets much lower, as we can see here. Now, this is Celsius, but we do see that around 204 hours, we do see the Arctic blast starting to go from Midwest all the way to the northeast. And that will correlate if we go back to the minimum, which we'll find here around hour 204. Let's go to where we do see the temperatures start to lower. And then we do also have a little mini cold front coming through that lowers the temperatures beforehand. So sorry about that long explanation. GFS now. Now we're not going to go this far. This again is the one that ECMWF is not showing, but we do see that it shows a little cold front coming through, dropping lots of temperatures in the 30s and some even 20s. Again, uncertain. GFS does not show it as strong. It shows much more east, but we see 30, 31, 36, 32, 36, 34, 33, 37. Again, 34 again. Like widespread 30s and isolated amount to 20s is what's shown. Then it gets stronger. And then we have more widespread 20s, but again, also still widespread 30s as well. 40s and 50s going down to Florida and southern Georgia, as we can see. And then, of course, we have that very big Arctic blast in the west, which we are uncertain about. And that, again, correlates to the 850 MB temperature anomaly, as we can see. The huge Arctic blast coming through much more east, and then something else coming through the plains. Okay, everyone, this is my graphic for the potential minimum temperatures. We're only going to be focusing on the areas on this graphic inside the yellow line, which means that your colder temperatures are going to be because of the Arctic blasts. If you're outside the yellow line, it means you are going to have temperatures either 50s or below, but they're not going to be because of the Arctic blasts. If you need more info, you can look at the yellow text in the right of the graphic. Anyway, so if you're in the green inside the yellow, it means you're going to get down to the 50s because of the Arctic blast. If you're in the blue inside the yellow line, it means, of course, you're going to get down to the 40s because of the Arctic blast, which is much of the East Coast. all the way down to like South Carolina, parts of Georgia, into like Arkansas, Missouri, all the way up to parts of Kansas. The 30s are going to be in the Dakotas for much of the Midwest, into parts of the Northeast, and also in the mountainous range in the near the Carolinas. So yeah, the mountains always get colder temperatures. They're currently in the 30s and 20s because of the Arctic blast as well. Now that's why there's just an area that dips down there. It's because those are mountainous regions, so they're going to get colder quicker. And of 20s, for mainly the north of this region, like north and central Wisconsin, northern Michigan, central and northern Minnesota, and northern North Dakota, and northeast Montana. Of course, if you're outside the outline, you can still see even a little bit of 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s, but it's not going to be because of the Arctic blast. So mainly we're going to be looking at the mainly like down to the 30s. Like 30s are guaranteed. 20s we'll have to see. And then those longer range Arctic blasts like the GFS is showing, we'll have to see what happens with those. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video and have a great night. I'll post tomorrow if nothing is going on like last time. I'm really sorry about that. Please consider liking, subscribing, and bye.